What's up, everybody? Corey here again with another review. This time I'm looking at a game I started a little bit ago at the end of last year, 2021, and it's called Aeterna Noctis. So this game is published and developed by Aeterna Game Studios, and it came out in mid-December 2021. So Aeterna Noctis, it's not often that I come across a game that when I'm playing it, especially for a review, that I don't finish it. And I will be front up with you, I have not finished Aeterna Noctis. This game is super challenging, very difficult, but it can be pretty rewarding. And so let me just go ahead and tell you about my experience and some of the things that make this game unique. So to start, it is a 2D hand-drawn game. I love the art style, and it could be classified as an action platformer and a metroidvania. So it is definitely up my alley, one of my favorite genres. The things about Aeterna Noctis that make it stand out is that as you go throughout the game, you are going to be getting abilities. Now, one of the things I don't like is that in order to gain some of these abilities, not only do you have to find something like you typically do in these games, but you have to bring it back to a central location. Now, in and of itself, that's not incredibly terrible, but that place in this game happens to be only accessible via a throne, and the thrones are what you unlock as you go throughout the map to fast travel. So you have to get to like basically a fast travel point in order to get back to the room where you unlock these abilities. Now, the abilities themselves to unlock, they are each tied to, say, like a door. Once you go through that door, there is some trials that you have to go through. Typically, there are very tough platforming sections, that the ones that I have visited. So that's all good and dandy. Once you get your abilities, you can continue moving on. Now, the one thing that additionally kind of stacks on that are these fast travel thrones. I did mention that as you unlock the map, you will get some of those fast travel thrones. In my opinion, there is not enough of these thrones, again, up until the point that I've played. And I want to stress that I have not beat this game yet. But as you can see here, the map is very, 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 very big. It has probably one of the largest maps in a 2D game that I have ever played. And again, I'm not finished. As you go throughout these difficult platforming sections, you are going to fight bosses. Some of them will be optional and some of them are required to progress. The other key part about Aeterna Noctis that it makes it stand out is that it has this Souls-like quality to it. As you're killing enemies, you are getting XP. That XP is then can be put into a skill tree. So the thing about it is, if you die though, you'll be put back to a checkpoint, which the checkpoints are pretty available. They are everywhere. Much more frequent than the thrones that allow you to fast travel. So you're put back at a checkpoint, and in order to gain any more XP, you have to go and collect your soul that is just kind of floating in the area that you died in. And until you do that, any enemies you come across, any XP that you get is not being added to your pool. In and of itself, I can understand that feature, but I happened to lose that soul in a very difficult vertical platforming section of the game, early game from what I can tell. And I was I got past that bit and I didn't think about it. And I got to a boss, and then once I beat the boss, you're you leave in a spot that is not the way that you came necessarily. And so I kept on going throughout the game and not noticing that I wasn't getting XP. So part of that can be on me because the lore in this game is very in depth as far as the text that it gives you. There are languages in the game that change between different people. And so I just didn't know that that's what was happening, and it kind of put a damper on my playthrough once I figured that out and noticed that I was so far away from this soul, and that it was like in the middle of this very difficult platforming section that I thought I was done with and I wouldn't have to go back to. So in order to continue, I have to fight my way back through there and get my soul in order to just kind of keep progressing myself, so I can kind of go and make the new enemies that I'm coming across a little easier. So that kind of like put a damper on my playthrough, to be honest. But I don't diss the game in any regard for that. I think it knows that it's a very difficult game. In fact, just recently, I said this came out in mid-December, just recently here in January, they actually came out with a patch that I noticed for the game where you get a new mode, basically. Noctis mode is the original version of the game as I've been describing it. But they've also added Aeterna mode. Get it? Aeterna Noctis. So Aeterna mode is the new game mode, and they have redesigned some of the platforms and the puzzles that you face, and it's more accessible, and it's focused on the action and the exploration. So it seems to be less about being difficult for the sake of being difficult. The problem is, for me specifically, that mode says it disables achievements, and you know me, I have to get my achievements. So original mode, I shall stay. But yeah, that is Aeterna Noctis. Hopefully this gameplay that you've seen gives you a taste of it. If you are into things like Hollow Knight, I think that those fans would find some interest in this game, because again, I think Hollow Knight's a very difficult yet rewarding platformer, and metroidvania at that. And so if you have any interest in Hollow Knight, I think you should give Aeterna Noctis a look. And yeah, I don't have anything more, I don't have anything else to say that's negative about the game because I didn't finish it. I just think that's on me, but it's a very challenging game, so just keep that in mind. However, I do really think the art style is very cool. It's definitely unique in some of the things that it does, and I think that it's a fine game. So yeah, that'll do it for me for this review. Don't forget to head over to xboxtavern.com where you see the final score for this one and other reviews from our whole team of reviewers. But for now, for me, I'm going to go, and I will see you in the next one.